And we're joined by Susan Wyron, a resident of Chicken, Alaska, to discuss her experience in the brutal cold. Susan, what is the coldest temperature you have ever experienced in Chicken?
The coldest weather in Chicken I ever experienced was 76 below. And I lived on the 40 Mile River my first winter in Alaska, which is about 40 miles away. And honestly, we saw 96 below. That was totally unofficial. That was the Omega effect winter. It never got above 60 below for 6 weeks straight.
And so how do
Yeah.
you prepare when you hear that temperatures are getting that cold in the forecast? How do you prepare your home? How do you prepare your person for temperatures that cold?
Routinely, we would pile snow on our big propane tank to insulate so that the propane would continue to flow when it was super cold like that. We never really had to use our backup wood stove. And oil heat is better. So if you do leave for a couple days, you don't lose your potatoes and your mayonnaise and your eggs because you can leave the heat on. Once your wood stove goes out, everything freezes, and potatoes are no good after they freeze. Neither is mayonnaise.
It just seems like such a foreign concept, thinking about actions that you have to take in terms of how cold the temperatures are out there. You also mentioned that the city of Chicken, Alaska, they don't have plows that get out there. How do you get around town?
Well, yeah, I mean, the plows stop maintenance October 15th, and then they start up opening the road usually the second week of March. But generally, when you live in a situation like that, you do your shopping before the road closes, and you do it after it gets cold enough so you don't need to run a freezer. So you can just pile your frozen vegetables and chickens or whatever you want on shelves in one of your sheds, and you can just walk out and get them. But getting around town, there's really nothing open except the post office.
When we talk about temperatures down into the negative 50s, negative 60s, and wind chill factors as well, it's a little bit different based on when you go back to the continental United States. Wind chill alerts are issued at certain temperatures. What temperature do you hear in the forecast and you think, I really need to take this seriously?
Well, actually, you always need to be careful there, but we don't, when it's so cold like that, it doesn't snow and there's really no wind and it's so quiet. You can hear air moving under raven wings when they're flying around, and they're one of the few animals or birds that you actually see. But generally, yeah, I mean, I would go out and cross country ski at 50 below for like a half an hour just to get out of the house, and it was ridiculous. I mean, I had this big Wolverine wolf ruff that I would put on and kind of have a tube that I breathe through, and you know, you had loads and loads of layers.
Is there anything else that people should know about Chicken, Alaska?
Well, I mean, just the concept of running water. I mean, there's no utility there to give you water. So I would dress the kids up after breakfast and we would go out. They would have baby snow shovels and I would have a bigger snow shovel and we would take cardboard boxes and fill them with snow. We'd avoid the little rabbit pellets because we have snowshoe hares there. So we would bring the boxes of snow in the house and dump them into a clean 55-gallon drum that we had plumbed into a holding tank in our basement, which was warm because of that heater. And as the snow melted, there was a valve at the bottom. We would let the water down into our holding tank. And we did have a little RV pump that pumped cold water up to my sink. And we did have a working drain. Most cabins in Alaska that don't have running water have slop buckets underneath the sink to catch, dirty dishwater or something. But things like showers didn't really exist. We took baths about once a week. I mean, it was kind of like the old days. And people still live like that in Alaska.
Well, thanks for joining us, Susan. You can find more information about the city on chickenalaska.com or weathernationtv.com.